meeting. I remember meeting the head of HR, Bucky Keaty, and she asked me, "Do you read Vogue?" And I said, "No." "Do you know who Anna Wintour is?" I said, "No." And, so that kind of gives you a sense of really how unprepared I was for this meeting. I actually left that meeting and ended up accepting a job with Todd Oldham, who had been my favorite designer at the time. Went out and celebrated, and then got a call the next day to come back to meet Anna. And I said, "I already have a job." And Bucky basically said, "No, you're coming in to meet Anna." So I went, and the funny thing is, I wasn't intimidated. I always say to people on my podcast, it's like people think knowledge is power, but in a way, it can be the opposite, right?
Mm.
Because I didn't have any anxiety that was kind of suffocating me. And like we talked earlier, when that comes into play, it's hard to get your thoughts straight, and you're not being your authentic self. And so
Mhm.
many, this fear voice
Yeah.
is really overpowering, who you are.
Mm.
So, I really think that is probably why I was hired. I
Mm.
really do, because very quickly you realize you don't last in that environment working for someone like Anna if you're scared.
Mhm.
She wants you to question. She wants you to feel, you know, to feel conviction in what you're suggesting. We all kind of have a beat there, and she relies on us to not be yes men, and to push her as well. So if you're scared, you're going to get eaten alive. If you're
Mm.
intimidated, if you're
Mm.
weak, it's a sign of
Mm.
weakness to her. So I do think, you have to be confident, think on your feet, trust yourself, and in a strange way, that naivety created a confidence in that meeting.
Mm.
And I was interviewing to be her first assistant, so you definitely need that. And people would